Okay, I should be live. Okay, I hope this is all working correctly. I'm not used to this, but hello everyone. This is Video Games Yo. This is how I sound. I am still quite young, so you know the old voice box is it's not in the best position, but and also I'm not very used to speaking on my videos, but as has been very highly requested, ever since that Shao Kahn highest ranked in the world video, people have asked me to do a Shao Kahn guide, so I've been putting it off for a while because I've been quite nervous because I don't normally speak, and my heart is going quite a bit fast right now, but I want to give you guys all the information I've got so that you can be, as good with Shao Kahn as you possibly can be. Because I can't do practice sessions with everyone as much as I'd like to. There's just so many people that ask me. So I'm just going to give a guide, and I'm going to record it on Twitch and then upload it to YouTube so it's easier. So I don't need a capture card and things like that. So I guess the first thing we should do is go over what I think Shao Kahn's game plan is. And to start, I think Shao Kahn is very difficult character to describe in my eyes, because he's not a rushdown excuse me, he's not a rushdown character per se. Like, you compare him to like Sonya, for example. He's not got like insane mix. Well, no, he hasn't got mix, period. Like, he's got a sweep, that's a low, he's got this overhead, and he's got the low of his forward 3-4, but apart from that he's not really got any mix. So I wouldn't consider him rushdown, and I would also not consider him a zoning character, because this is not a zoning tool. Like, maybe when you've got a significant life lead, but apart from that, this is not a great projectile. I mean, it says it's a mid, but it can be ducked, but we'll get into that when we go through the special moves. But yeah, I think he excels at around this range. Range for forward 2 to connect, and if you can hit confirm forward 2 into shoulder, that's a very key skill you have to learn, but we'll talk more about that later on in the guide. And also back 2 will connect from here, around this range. Okay, sorry, around that range. See, I'm a noob, I don't know what I'm talking about. Back 2, which is a good whiff punish into shoulder, which you can amplify, to get more damage. And sweep, which is a very good tool in this range. It catches people off guard quite a lot. Just sweep, get the knockdown. Sweep, get the knock. I'm a noob. Get the knockdown, and then go for pressure with the, the mids that are available to you. Because Shao Kahn doesn't really have any amazing mids. He has mids, so he can pressure and wake up. Like after a down 1 hits, for example, when he's got frame advantage. But yeah, he hasn't got the largest repertoire of mids, let's say. But I'll talk about that more when we get into the next part of the guide. So, let's just give me some meter, and we'll go into his moves, his normal moves. So, first we've got standing 1. Decent range for a standing 1, to be honest. Like, very decent range. Like, you can punish a lot of stuff with this. Like, for example, Liu Kang's flying kick can be very easily punished. Like, normally when I block Liu Kang's flying kick, I always go for back 2 because it's more consistent, but in terms of range. But standing 1, very good range for a punish. Like, because he uses the butt of his hammer. It's very good range. It's very consistent, and because it's faster than a back 2 at 9 frames. Yes, his standing 1 is 9 frames, which is quite unfortunate, but I think that's compensated by the fact that it's very advantageous on hit to plus 22. Guarantees whatever you want, basically. Forward 3, back 2, a grab attempt, a shimmy. You can do whatever you want, basically. The opponent is jailed for quite a long time. But yeah, I could show you an example, actually. We can get Baraka to do... Oh, sorry, no, that's not going to work. We get him to do 1-1 into gutted. As you can see there, it's a consistent punish. It has very good range for a Punisher. So, yeah, I mean, it is going to be your basic bread and butter punish for most unsafe moves, you know, because normally, you know, if we're playing online, if we're talking about ranked, your go-to punish is normally your jab string. And in Shao Kahn's case, his jab string has extremely good range, or his starter from a jab string. So, yeah, standing one, very good. It can also be used as an anti-air, and it's very consistent anti-air as well. And if I set Baraka to jump kick me, it's still quite consistent against Baraka's jump kick, and Baraka's jump kick is very good. So yes, standing one is going to be your main bread and butter punish. Standing one series into a shoulder, obviously, not just standing one into shoulder. But you know, you could do that if you're just getting used to punishes of Shao Kahn. It's a very viable thing to do. It's quite hard to cancel just a standing one into a shoulder, but you know, everyone has to start somewhere. That's where I started. You know, I used to be a pleb when I was playing Shao Kahn at the start, but yeah, standing one very good for anti-airing. It's +3 on block as well, so you can enforce a mix-up after it. So I can show you if he Baraka blocks. For example, if Baraka blocks this, I can go for a forward 3, which is 10 frames. It can be interrupted by a down jab, but it's there, I suppose. You could do down a down 1 after it, which is uninterruptible, because it's down 1 7 frames. So +3 into 7 frame down 1 uninterruptible. You could do +3 into throw. The only problem with standing one is it's a high, so obviously it can be ducked. So it has a lot of benefits, but at the end of the day it's a high. So if people like to duck or mash down jab a lot, then you're gonna have to enforce your mids, which we'll get onto in a second. Okay, so that's a standing one. His down one I've already described, 7 frames, +10 on hit, -4. Average down one, I'd say it's quite good. I mean, it's not Gearus's and it's not Sub-Zero's, it's not Iron Black's, but it's a pretty good down one if you ask me. I mean, it gets me out of a load of, you know, tricky situations. It's not Frost's down one, that's for certain. Standing 2, 10 frame start, -3 on block, active for 2 frames. Now, standing 2, I don't really find much use out of this. Yes, it has good range, as you can see. It can be used, as I said before, for punishes. So if we get Baraka to do gutted again, if I can block it, as you can see there, it punishes full combo into a decent 30% damage. It does more damage than his jab combo series, so it does more damage than... Let's get him to stop blocking, that would help. So 2-1 does 58, 1-4 does 48, and 1-2 also does 48.5. So 2-1 is your most damaging opener in terms of going for shoulder. But it's 10 frames, so it's 1 frame slower than your standing one. So you use this if you're punishing like a teleport or a gutted from Baraka, things that are really minus on block, to get that little bit more damage. Yeah, with Shao Kahn you really need to cash out your damage, to be honest. Every opportunity you have to do some damage you need to take. So 2-1, yeah, it's pretty good. Standing 2, as I said, very good range. So if you're punishing things of a decent bit of pushback, something like Liu Kang's flying kick, or let's have a think, Jade's spinning move with her bow, I don't know what it's called, I'm sorry. But yeah, you can punish that, that's -13, so you can punish that if you're quick enough. Scorpion's teleport, you know, things that are very minus that you have a very decent window to get off a 2-1 into shoulder. So yeah, that's a standing 2. Now we move on to back 2, which is one of my favourite normals in Shao Kahn. Back 2 is, I'd say, probably his primary whiff punishing tool. So if we record Baraka, let's say he moves back and he does a jump in, and I see he's done a jump in, back 2 into shoulder into full combo for a very good chunk of damage for a whiff punish. The tricky thing about back 2 is that you have to cancel it immediately. There is no like buffer to cancel back 2, which is the problem. Like if I do it even a bit late, okay, now it's working for some reason, but basically you need to be certain that this is going to connect for you to do the back forward 3 input for the shoulder. Because say Baraka jumps and he doesn't do a jump in, and I try and trip guard him anyway, the back 2 into shoulder will get blocked, and shoulder is very minus. It is -20 on block, which means everyone can get a damn good punish on you. So you don't want to risk that. You basically want to be sure that this back 2 is going to hit for you to cash out the damage, because it's extremely risky if it gets blocked. And as I'm against Baraka here. Baraka is no stranger to stupid damage. He can do 40% easy, and especially in the corner he can crushing blow you do 50%. So I'd recommend that if you're just starting out as a Shao Kahn, get used to the back 2 back forward 3 timing, or back 2 shoulder timing rather, and then start implementing it into your game for whiff punishing, not just off jump ins, but for example if you see Baraka, let's do another example, whiff a forward 4, going for a whiff punish like that, just get used to it. Shao Kahn's all about muscle memory, I think. Just getting used to what he can do and how he can punish certain things. And back 2 is a very good example of that, because it's very finicky to get used to at first, to cancel timing. But with punishing, I'd say back 2 is your go-to button, and it's also a mid, so you can pressure people on wake up with this kind of. I mean, a setup I like to go for, if people like to disrespect me on wake up, for example mash down jab, or try and backdash or hold up, I'll go for back 2 meaty, and it will hit, if it hits them, you can't really hit confirm back 2, but I'll normally go back 2 into hammer on their wake up. Yes, it's a very risky option, but if I find that they keep disrespecting me, it's 16% on the table. Like, sometimes I do it, and we'll talk about the hammer more as the guide goes on, but yeah, back 2, really good whiff punisher. Implement it into your game. It's very, very good. I'd say one of his best moves, or best tools, definitely. And by the way, I didn't really mention this at the start of the guide, I'm sorry, but the annotations I'm using for buttons are the universal annotations. So for PS4, square is 1, triangle is 2, X is 3, and circle is 4, just in case anyone didn't know that. I'm sorry I didn't say it at the start of the guide, but there we go. So now we move on to forward 2, which is probably my favourite string with Shao Kahn. Massive range, as you can see, absolutely humongous range. Like, see, this move would be broken apart, but it's been balanced by the fact that it's a high. If this was a mid, this move would be amazing. I mean, this move still is very good. Like, it's extremely good. I've won many matches by catching someone off guard with this move. And if you learn properly how to hit confirm forward 2-1 into shoulder, you're gonna feel like it's gonna be smooth sailing from then on. Once you can hit confirm mat into shoulder like every time without fail, it's very effective, especially against people that will stand at that range. And Baraka's a good example of this. Stand at that range and throw projectiles at you. If they're just walking around not blocking, and you go, oh, bam, forward 2 into shoulder into combo. Well, I can't do the combo because I'm not good, but 4-2-1 into, you know, just standard bread and butter combo. Does about 299, yeah, 299 damage. So yes, forward 2, amazing range. But as I said, it is a high. So if I record Shao Kahn doing a forward 2 and I duck it, I can punish it as Baraka. So if we're just going about the mid range, I can punish forward 2. So be wary of that. Like a lot of people I go up against, especially in the top 10 on PSN in ranked, they like to just sit and duck at, you know, this kind of sweet spot range in anticipation of forward 2 because it's a high. But then, you know, you've got forward 2 extension, so if they're late on the punish they decide to do, normally the punish they'll decide to do is a down 2 because, you know, cash out like 15% or whatever it is. So, you know, you've got forward 2 and the forward 2 series of combos. So you've got forward 2 into forward 2-4, which ends in an overhead. This overhead is minus 16, I believe. Yeah, minus 16 on blocks, so Shao Kahn himself can punish this with a reversal shoulder. So, yeah. Yeah, okay. I'll talk more about the strings later. Just for now, just forward 2 on its own. Very good range. As I said, good whiff punisher, like back 2, but has even more range. So forward 2, you can't go wrong with forward 2. But we'll talk about more about the strings as we get through the normals. So forward 2. Down 2, just your average down 2. His down 2 actually has very good range. It's good for anti-airing jumps. Like very good for anti-airing jumps. Probably more consistent than his standing 1, to be honest. It has such a good hitbox, his down 2. So yeah, if you're struggling to use a standing 1 as an anti-air, just use down 2. You can't go wrong with down 2. His down 2 is pretty good, to be honest. Standing 3. Now, see, I'm all for using all of his moves and all of his combo strings and all of his normals, but stand 3 just eludes me. I cannot think of a use for this move. Like, it hasn't got the greatest range in the world. Like, I'd say about there. No, not even there. Like, there is where it will hit, which is also in standing 4 range, and standing 4 it has more range than that, and does more damage. It's a 13 frame startup high. I just don't see a reason to use this over standing 4. I mean, yeah, I mean, unless you want to be fancy and use a standing 3 in your combo. I honestly don't see a need for it, but, you know, I'm not the best, well, I'm the highest ranked. I don't want to say I'm the best Shao Kahn ever, but there's probably better Shao Kahns out there than me. They're just not really in the limelight at the moment. But yeah, standing 3, it may have a use, but to be honest, I just find it's useless for me. I mean, back 2 is the same speed, and it's a mid, and it's forward advancing, and it does the same damage. And standing 4 does more damage and has more range, so yeah, standing 3 I don't really use very much. But yeah, back 3 now, one of my other favourite moves is Shao Kahn. Very long range, swings his hammer up mid attack. As you can see, this has enormous range. Like, from the round start you can press back 3 and it will connect. Walk back a bit, it will still connect. Now, my main use for this move is to catch people out who are, you know, at about this range. You know, just walking around, not blocking, you know, thinking of throwing a projectile at you. And you can catch them off guard with back 3. And the cool thing about back 3 is that you can visually confirm that it's hit, and then do a shoulder to combo off of it. And as you can see, the shoulder connects very low to the ground, so you have ages to confirm this shoulder into a good chunk of damage as well. And depending on what side you're on, obviously, we can put Baraka in the corner here. Let's put him... So, for example, if Baraka's in the corner and I see him whiff a button, for example, I go for back 3, and then you get a full corner conversion, and depending on how many bars you want to use, 2-bar conversion there, 370% roundabout. So which is pretty good off a back 3 with, you know, that much range. And if you want to use 1 bar, if I can do it properly, that's normally a combo I go for. 301 damage. Not bad if you ask me, off that behemoth of a move. It's like massive range. Launches, you can visually hit confirm. You've got ages to dash up and do a standing 4. Like, you've just got ages. Like, it's... Can't go wrong with this move. I mean, it's just very, very good move. I'm dropping all my combos because I'm bad. I'm sorry. I've been playing Frost for a long time. I'm thinking she's will be my second main, but that's enough about that. This is a Shao Kahn guide. So, downsides to this move, as you can see in the move list, it's -17 on block. Now, let's just set Baraka to block this. Okay, I'm going to do it this way. So set Baraka to block this. We'll record Shao Kahn doing back 3. As you can see, I have ages to punish this. And then you get the gist. It's extremely minus. So the only chime I'd recommend to use back 3. Oh, I need to switch back to Shao Kahn. I'd recommend to use back 3 is if you see a long range jump, as you may have seen in some of my videos on YouTube. I like to use back 3 as like a long range anti-air. So if we set Baraka to jump from quite a long distance away, and you see we can focus on the fact that he did jump, react to it, back 3 into combo. There we go again, like, here we go. Just react to the jump, back 3. Oh, jump, back 3. So just get into a habit of doing that. Yeah, it's a very good, you know, anti-air for long range. It's 17 frames on startup, so I wouldn't recommend using it at close range, and sometimes it has a tendency to whiff, like, over his head, which is a bit of an issue, but it's understandable. For those ranges, just use down 2 and standing 1. They just do the job, and you get the same, if not more, damage from standing 1 and down. You know, down 2 is the easy option, but to get started, I even did down 2. It's just a good, safe, chunky damage option for an anti-air. So yeah, that's it for back 3. Forward 3, the Shao Shimmy. Great move name. It's his 10 frame mid, which on paper sounds very good. And yes, it is a very good mid. It's 10 frames. It's -8 on block, but no one ever punishes this because you can go into forward 3-4, which goes into a low. Now, an important thing to mention about this mid. I don't know if any of you have seen Rio's video. Go subscribe to MK Rio, he's an amazing YouTuber. I've watched him for ages. But he did a Shao Kahn video about the fact that forward 3 can be hit confirmed. And it's true, it can be hit confirmed, but it's just very difficult. Like, if we go into the move list, cancel advantage is 24 frames. Now, that means that you have 24 frames to see that this is hit, and then cancel it into a shoulder. Like, see that I just input shoulder. I don't know if you saw that in my inputs, but it didn't come out because I was too slow, because I'm not used to using this tool, you know, to hit confirm it into shoulder. Normally I just use forward 3-4 on its own. I stagger lots of forward 3s because they can flawless block forward 3-4. And then launch you into, you know, whatever combo, especially against Gearus. Like, he can do like 340 damage on you if he flawless blocks that, which is absurd, but we will not get into Gearus's balance. So yeah, forward 3 can be hit confirmed, which is a very, very good tool. Like, it's one of the only, if not the only, hit confirmable mid in the game, which is extremely good. But as I say, it's very tight, so you're going to have to get used to practicing it. I'm still used to getting used to implementing it into my game. So yes, practice it. Once you master this, it's going to be extremely powerful. if you can hit confirm a mid into a full combo. And you know, the combo does like 30% damage, like it's just standard damage, like it's just standard B&B combo. 290 off a hit confirmable mid, and if you just stop the mid, say Baraka blocks the mid, it's fine, because you know they don't normally press buttons, because you can go into forward 3-4, or you can go into forward 3 and do nothing, or forward 3 annihilation if you want to be really risky. Especially if you've got hammer buff active as well, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, forward 3, very good mid, staggerable, decent range to be fair, and it can be used as a punisher for anything that's minus, I would say minus 10 or above that, as in like minus 10, minus 11, minus 12, and so on. But you know, online it's a bit dodgy. But if it's offline, then you can use it, but I'd recommend from minus 11 and worse to use that mid. But it's a very good mid. It's amazing, actually. It's one of his best tools, in my opinion. And now we move on to knee shatter, down 3. It's a low, decent range, uses his hammer. Standard down 3, to be honest. 9 frame start. It's alright. I mean, I use it occasionally. Yeah, it's an average down 3, plus 10 on hit, minus 5 on block. Bog standard, really. Standing 4. I'd say this is what it's standing 3, but better, basically. Does more damage, has more range. Your main use for standing 4 will be to punish things that are minus 14 and above. So you can use this to cancel, punish teleports. Baraka's gutted, for example. We can show that now. You can see that's a punish. And that's his highest damage cancel off of a punish. As you can see there, 330 damage. Not too shabby. That's very good, actually. And if you choose to use 2 bars and or fatal blow, it does even more. So yeah, use that off of moves that are extremely minus. As a punisher, it's 13 frame startup, which is, you know, it's decent. It's a high, so if you mistime it and your opponent ducks and they just press a down 2, it can be a bit daunting to get crushing blow down 2'd off a punish attempt, but it's the life you have to lead as a Shao Kahn player. You know, you have to cash out on all the damage you can, because that's what he's for, really. He's a very high damage character with very good space control, but once you lose the life lead, it's quite difficult to get it back. He's like Noob in that sense, but because you know he's got a lot of minus moves and minus combo strings, so it's quite difficult to get the lead back if you lose it. But anyway, standing 4, highest damage cancel. You can also use it in combos as well. It's normally the highest damage option. For example, standing 4 into annihilation, standing 4 into air grab, standing 4 into shoulder, after you've already done a shoulder, like stuff like that. It's normally your most high damage option. And also in the corner, this is the wrong thing, corner, standing 4 in that scenario does the most damage. 363 for that combo there, but we will talk about that after we've done talking about the strings. And then we go on to the sweep, back 4. Amazing move. Shao Kahn players I've seen online, the few that I have seen, do not use this enough. It's fast as hell, 13 frame start. Yeah, it's just a very fast sweep, gives a knockdown, allows you to pressure them on wake up with the forward 3 if you so wish, allows you to go in for a grab attempt, allows you to pressure with, you know, a 1-2 series string, allows you to bait a wake up. You know, it's very versatile, it's very long range, very fast, gives you a knockdown, and even better than all that, it's -2 on block. I've played games where people think this is plus on block. Now, upon releasing this guide, no one's going to think this is plus on block anymore. I mean, people have said it's plus, but it's not, it's -2. Normally what I do, even though it's kind of scumbaggy, But you know, I'm the number 1 ranked Shao Kahn. I have to think of some scumbag tactics. So if we get Baraka to block, I cannot operate these controls at all. So if he blocks this, normally I'd go in for a down 1 because the recovery is just very good on this sweep, and the fact that it's -2 means that the down jab will come out in 9 frames, which is not too bad. For example, if you get against the Frost, her down 1 and your down 1 will trade. Poor Frost, I know. It's not good. Like, why did they give her a 9 frame down 1? Anyway. Yes, sweep, very good. I love this move. Like, I absolutely love his sweep. I think it's amazing. But yeah, use your sweep as much as you can at sort of this sort of range. Off the round start, so we're going for a sweep, you can't go wrong. If you whiff, on whiff, this sweep recovers extremely fast as well. So even if you do whiff, you can low profile with a down 4 after if you think they're going to go for a high or an advancing high, for example, Raiden's forward 2. It does outspeed some advancing mids like Raiden's forward 4 or Jackie's back 2 as well, if you want to go for a down 4 after that. But yeah, very versatile move, good range, fast, very safe, very good on block. So back 4, use it a lot, it's very useful. Down 4 we've already spoken about, 10 frame start, just your average down 4, plus 15, minus 8. Yeah, it's just solid down 4. Great move. Now we get into the juicy bit of Shao Kahn's offense, which is forward 4. Now, as you can see there, it says forward 4 is plus 6 on block. Now, plus 6 is a lot, and plus 6 is also the amount of plus frames Sub-Zero gets off his forward 4, and everyone knows that's very good forward. You know, it's a very good forward 4, and it gives very good plus frames, because plus 6 is a lot of plus frames. But you can also see that it's plus 28 on startup, which is quite slow. But anyway, I digress. Let's talk about what we can do off of Shao Kahn's forward 4. So if we set Baraka to, I don't know how to set him to mash down jab, but anyway, look, I can just tell you. So if you hit a forward 4, you're plus 6, as the frame data told you. So you have a number of things you can do off of this. Number 1, as I said earlier, forward 3 is a 10 frame mid. Now, based on the way frame data works, if you're plus 6 and you do a 10 frame mid, that mid will come out in 4 frames. Technically, I don't know if that's the best way to describe it, but your opponent will have to have either a 4 frame move to trade with you or a 3 frame move to interrupt you. Now, there is no such thing as a 3 frame move in the game. There is such thing as a 4 frame move in the game, in Raiden's discharge move, in his Rajan variation. But apart from that, if you hit forward 4 and you go for a forward 3, you can't interrupt it. If your timing's perfect, you should not be able to interrupt the forward 3. So that's that. If you think that they're going to press a button, for example a down 1, which people are very fond of doing, or just any poke really, they try to backdash, they try to jump out. Upon jumping out, the forward 3, I think I can test that actually. So we do a forward 4 and then set him to jump. Movement mode, jump. Oh, okay, I'm really bad at this. Stand into, make him block, okay. Now we make him jump. As you can see there, the forward 3, 4 will hit, and he'll be airborne when the forward 3, 4 hits. Sometimes the grab will work there, sometimes it won't, so you could just have to judge it for yourself. If he's high enough above the ground, you can try and attempt the grab, but if you whiff the grab, it's basically death. He can wake up with his 7 frame jab, if we're using Baraka as an example here. He can wake up with his 7 frame jab and do 40% to you, so the risk doesn't really outweigh the reward. So just get used to your opponent's tendencies when doing the forward 3-4 after a forward 4 is blocked after your +6 of advantage. So let's get him to block again. So as I said, forward 4 you can do forward 3-4, which jails. They can't down 1 after that. They can't do anything, I don't think. I could be wrong about that, but I've been doing it since the start and it's been working. And using the philosophy of frame data, it works. So yes, 4-3-4 after forward 4. You can also do... I mean, it's out of range here, but you can throw. If they're respecting the forward 3-4, you can get a throw in, because the forward 3-4 by itself does 19% damage. So if they're respecting that, you can go in for a throw. Throws are 10 frames, of course. 10 frames on start. Just check I'm not wrong about that. Yes, they are 10 frames on start, which is the same speed as this mid. So, you know, it kind of becomes like a 50-50. Am I going to do a mid or am I going to throw? That, you know, begs the question, what's your opponent going to do? Are they going to neutral duck and eat the mid for 19%, or are they going to block low and eat the throw for 14%? So, you know, it's got a good kind of pseudo 50-50 there. It's okay if you can enforce your forward 4, but as I say, it is 28 frames on start, quite slow. If your opponent's got a keen eye, he can or she can flawless block it. So yes, keep that in mind, that's very important. Okay, that's forward 4. Okay, so that's all his normals done. Okay, that was good. Anything else worthy of credit here? I'd say probably his jump 2 is actually very good. It's got very good range, deceptively good range. Very usable on a read of a throw, for example. Neutral jump 2, it will catch them. Neutral jump 2 is very easily linkable into combos. It's like Cabal's jump 2, it has deceptively long range. Like, even from there it's hitting. Like, it's got very good range, and as his standing jab has such good range, it's very easily confirmable into big damage, basically, into a big combo. So yeah, his jump 2 is amazing. I don't really use his jump 1 that much. His jump 2 just does all of the jobs for me in terms of a jump in, if I want to do a jump in. If I just want to enforce plus frames, I'll just do a jump kick. His jump kicks are actually quite good. Standard setup after a jump kick, forward 3-4, good option. Throw, a jab string. It might not jail, it depends on the height of the jump kick, but it's varied, to be honest. So yeah, his jump ins for the most part I'd say are very good. So use them, but don't overuse them, otherwise you're going to get anti-aired. So yeah, that's his normal moves done, finally. Now I move on to his strings. Now I'm not going to talk about every string here, but I'm going to talk about strings that are worthy of credit. So we have 1-2, 1+3, or 1-4-2, 2-4, 2-1-2, 2-3, forward 2-1, and I guess I can include that to explain why not to use it. Forward 2-4. I've just spoken about forward 3-4, 1+3, and 4-4. Okay, so these strings you can see tagged here. He hasn't really got that many strings, to be honest, but the strings he has got, there are some you should use and some that you shouldn't really use. So 1-2-4 is -5 on block. Let's just make sure, don't want to give you wrong information. So yes, -5 on block, so it's completely safe, but you do lose your turn after this. -5, you can't enforce a down jab, it's just reckless to do that against a really good opponent. So yeah, -5 on block, completely safe, and as you can see there on the move list, crushing blow triggers if at least 3 spear attacks have landed. So if we take Baraka off of block and we hit 3 spears, and now we do the 1-2, 1+3, it will do a chunky 35% damage. which is extremely good for a string that's safe on block. And the last bit of that, the 1+3, if they try to jab between the 1-2 and that grab part, they will be hit. You can't jab out of that, as far as I know. It's kind of like a frame trap. So yeah, it's a very good string. Pity it's a high, but the mid comes out quite quickly after, so this can be used to pressure on wake up because the mid will hit a crouching opponent. So yes, 1-2, 1+3, great string. Safe on block, especially if you have the crushing blow ready and loaded. It's extremely good. So yeah, use that a lot. It's very effective. Now we have 1-4-2. Now, unfortunately, no one really does this online, and it's not really a practiced method of trying to best this string. But if we set Baraka to flawless block, every hit of this string can be flawless blocked. This string is laced in gaps. If you just do 1-4, that can be flawless blocked. If you whole thing, it's flawless blockable. So anyone can interrupt that with a flawless block. I still use this because people sometimes get hit by the overhead. And if you're in the Shao Kahn variation, I'm in Risen Emperor right now, but I will go over Shao Kahn after. If you're in the as I say, if you're in the Shao Kahn variation, you do have back down 4 as a low option, which you can mix up that string with. That string is -9, so it is punishable, but as you can see, has pushback. Let's take him a flawless block. This is getting annoying. So yeah, it has quite a bit of pushback, so you'll rarely be punished for this. I mean, I don't think there's a 9-frame move that advances that quickly. Maybe, Jackie's 9-frame mid, whatever the annotation is, I don't play her, but maybe that could punish it at like max range, but I'm not sure it can be punished. So yeah, use it sparingly. If the opponent flawless blocks the second hit and or third hit, they're just too good, so just don't use that. In my experience, no one's ever flawless blocked this string. I don't think they know of it can happen, or it can be flawless blocked, but yeah, use it sparingly. I mean, I just like to use all the strings to vary his offense. And anyway, he has 1-2, so if they do try and flawless block the second hit, they'll be caught by the 1-2. So into the 1+3, which is safe and does about like 17% damage if you take away the first one, which is decent. So yeah, 1-4-2, decent string, ends in overhead. Relatively safe on block if we're talking about character's ability to punish it. Now we have 2-1-2. As I spoke about earlier, standing 2, very good range. Used as a punisher for things like teleport or things that are -11 and worse on block, as it's your most damaging starter other than standing 4, but standing 4 is a bit slower at 13 frame start, while this is 10 frame start. Only 1 frame slower than your stand jab. But the string 1-2-4, we can check. It cannot be flawless blocked after the first hit, which is pretty good. It jails from that point on. So that's pretty good. As you can see in the move list, it says it's -6, which is safe, more or less. I mean, Aaron Black, Sub-Zero, and Geras can punish it with a down jab for a just frame punish. But for the most part, you're not going to be punished by this string. However, you do lose your turn. Absolutely. Like, you cannot pressure after this. You're -6. If you pressure after this string, you're a madman, to be quite honest. Not even I cannot pressure after this string. I just can't bring myself to do it. But yeah, 2-1-2. It's safe on block. Sometimes I throw it out there. People get caught by the low. You can sometimes whiff the 2 and then go for the 1 after it to, catch people off guard. Low has quite good range actually after the initial standing 2, which is pretty good. Yeah, safe on block. And then comes the mix up, is your opponent going to throw you or do a mid? So you could neutral duck after this string, which I do quite a bit, and then punish accordingly based on if they do a throw or a high attack. but then they could just press you with the mid, so it's 50-50 in that sense. As I say, I like to use lots of strings with him to mix up his offense, but use what you want, use what you feel comfortable with using. As I say, that low has quite good range, so you can catch people off guard with that. So yeah, that's that string. Now, the 2-3 series. Now, the only time I ever use this string is in combos, and I think the last hit can be floors blocked. Yes, it can. So I don't really see a use for this string in the neutral, but in terms of combos, I use this string all the time. If you've seen my bread and butter combo, it ends with 2-3, which is decent damage right there, to be honest. So that's very good. But yeah, in terms of neutral, I would not recommend using this string. It can be flawless blocked. Yes, it's -5 and -7, which means it's basically safe, bar an Aaron Black, Sub-Zero or Gearus down jab, or anyone else that has a 6-frame down jab. But I just wouldn't recommend using it, to be honest. The 2-3, just in combos. And apart from that... Oh, and the thing I have found is that if people, for example, if you just do a normal combo, and people break away when you do the 2-3, because normally your bread and butter would be 2-3 into annihilation, right? If people break away there, you can continue the string and do the 2 because there's such a long wait. And if they break, normally when they break away, the mentality of the player would be, oh, I've broken away from the combo, I can punish him now because he's going to go into annihilation. But if you can react to that drop out from the opponent, continue the string, and on their wake up it will hit meaty, so they can't press a button. If they do, they'll be hit by the string, and they'll be hit far away. So that's a good tactic I like to use also, for people that break away from my bread and butter combo. It may not be optimal, but I find it's most consistent, and as I am an online player, I'd like consistency over execution heavy combos. As I say, I'm not my opinion is not the be all end all. I'm just trying to help everyone here, to just play Shao Kahn, really, because lots of people have asked me to help them out with how to establish a game plan, what buttons to use, what buttons not to use, etc. So yeah, I'm just trying to help. You can, feel free to give me any tips on how to play my Shao Kahn if I'm using certain things wrong and if I'm not. So yeah, 2-3, that's 2-3 and 2-3 series. Now we have forward 2 series of strings. So we've got, as I told you before, forward 2, really good range, but it's a high, can be ducked. And then we have the forward 2 follow-ups, which are forward 2-1, which is -6, safe on block, which is really good. Gives Shao Kahn a way in. And of course, forward 2-1 is cancelable into special moves, for any special move of your choice. Don't play like a waffle, easy. So yes, 4-2-1, very good way to advance in. So yeah, 4-2-1 can be cancelled, and then you've got the extension of 4-2-1, which is forward 2-1-2. Now, you hardly ever see this string from me, and there's a reason for that. It's -15. Why is my first question. Why is this -15? This is -15 on block, so the only reason I would ever use this is if I'm staggering forward 2-1 a lot and then I'm just blocking, because I want to get in with forward 2-1. And maybe I would have done forward 2-1 like 50 times. And then once every 50 times I've just done forward 2-1, I'll do forward 2-1-2 to check the opponent. If it's a very good opponent, they probably won't get hit by it, but it's there. It's a mind game. It's -15. It's not a very good mind game, but it's there. It's an extension. So if you just do forward 2 a lot by itself, or forward 2-1 into nothing, or into cancel, for example, like forward 2-1 hammer toss is a very common thing I do if they don't know how to defend against the hammer toss. But yeah, forward 2-1-2, it's there to be used. As I say, I like to use all of his strings to vary his offense, but yeah, use it if you wish. That's that. forward to 4 I already described. This is overhead, it's -16. If you whiff this move, it has 50 frames of recovery, which is basically death. They can go to the shop, come back and punish you. Like, it's ridiculously unsafe if you whiff it. Even if it connects like mid-air and you whiff the second hit, it's basically death. So use this sparingly, I would say. And in True Kahn variation, you're going to get a 50-50 between forward 2-4 and forward 2 back down 4, which is a decent like pseudo 50-50. It's kind of reactable, but we'll get to that when we get to the True Kahn variation. Now we have forward 3-4. I've already mentioned this. We can actually take him off block here and show you the damage of a forward 3-4. 20% for a mid, which is hit confirmable. If you see that, you have ages to see that that's hit and then press the throw button. Oh, it's hit, throw button, 20%, which is very decent. To my knowledge, it's -7, it's safe, apart from a down jump, so it can't really be punished. But as I did say, if we set Baraka to a flawless block, it can be flawless blocked. So be wary of that. Stagger a lot of forward 3s on their own for opponents that like to do that. But yeah, forward 3-4, just generally quite a good tool. Forward 3 on its own, amazing tool if you can hit confirm it. So set them to block again. And then we move on. Oh, I almost quit the game there. Move on to 4-4. Now this shares very similar properties to forward 4 in regards to the second hit of this string. So 4-4, as you can see, +6 on block, which is the same as forward 4. So it guarantees all of the things I mentioned that forward 4 guarantees. So you have 4-4, and you can do forward 3-4. You could do throw. You could do whatever you want. Just basically all the things I said off of forward 4, you can do that. However, as many things are with Shao Kahn, there's always something that's going to prevent you from using this and spamming it. And that is the fact that it has a flawless block gap. So use it sparingly. And also, forward just 4 on its own is a high. So you're going to have to watch out. You know, people that like to down jab a lot, it's quite risky to keep throwing that out there, so be wary of that. But I think that's all of his combo strings done. So now we get to move into the best part, which are his special moves. Okay, so let's tag his special moves. So you've got a spear, which you've spoken about already, but we'll tag it. Air grab, Dark Priest, Wrath Hammer, Shoulder Charge, Annihilation, Hammer Lunge, and his Fatal Blow. But yeah, we didn't need to go into that. We'll go into it eventually. But yeah, here are his special moves. First one we've got is Spear. Decent projectile, hits mid. If I set Baraka to not block and duck from about this range, it'll just go straight over his head, even though it's a mid. So yeah, it's very easy to advance on Shao Kahn's when they're throwing this, because it has a lot of recovery, as you can see. Like, I'll hold up after I do this, and you'll see how much recovery it has, which gives Baraka quite a long time to walk forward. So yeah, it's decent in the fact that you're gonna look like if you hit 3 of these, which does happen. I do get this crush and go, the 1-2, 1+2 crush and blow quite a lot. So if you hit 3 of these, as it is a mid, you can zone people out with this technically. Like throw the occasional one, it does 6%, which is a decent chunk of damage to take when trying to get in. So in that regard, it's very good to catch people off guard, because you know you don't really expect Shao Kahn as to be able to zone. But yeah, it's a decent projectile. It's nothing amazing. It's not Sonya's ring projectile. Nothing Sonya's ring projectile, because that's just amazing. But yeah, it's all right. I use it quite a bit just to try to get the crushing blow and to guarantee Dark Priest setups, but we'll talk about that when we get to Dark Priest. So, that's his spear. Scum grab, his air grab. Normally, my only use for this is within combos. So, if just bread and butter here. I use it to side switch in combos. So say, let's just get Baraka to the corner here. So say I land a punish on Baraka, say I block a gutted of his. 1-4, into standing 4, into scum grab. Very good, you know, decent damage, and it side switches. Yeah, basically that's it. I mean, I don't use scum grab to anti-air because you've got standing 1. The scum grab on startup is 7 frames, so in theory it is probably a better anti-air than standing 1 as it's faster. So it just gives you a larger 2-frame window, like 2 more frames to anti-air using the scum grab than if you were using a standing 1. But I mean, we can show it here actually. If we set Baraka to jump and we anti-air him with scum grab, it does 12%, and if you amplify it, that's 17, I believe. Yeah. And if we anti-air him with standing 1, let's do a comparison. That's 300 damage. So yes, scum grab will be more consistent in the fact that it's 2 frames faster than a standing 1. But if you want to do an easy mode anti-air, I'd probably recommend not standing 2, sorry, down 2, as it has much bigger range, a much larger hitbox. Yes, it's slower, but I think it would be more consistent for people trying to start out anti-airing. If you're practicing, you know, and that sort of thing. So yeah, scum grab I use mainly to side switch in combos and to cash out damage at the end of crushing blow combos, which we'll get on to later. So let's get him to block again. Alright, so that's scum grab. Now we have Dark Priest. This is his really cool move where he buffs his hammer. Love this move, really well animated. Hammer starts glowing green afterwards as well. If you have the purple hammer, it looks even better. But yeah, enough about that. So as you can see, Dark Priest has a startup of 1 frame and recovery of 82 frames, meaning Baraka has about 7 years to punish you if you are even remotely close to him. Say you are over here, Baraka can dash into you and he could do forward 4-4 from there, because Baraka's forward 4-4 travels quite far. Liu Kang could flying kick you, Shao Kahn himself could do a shoulder on you, Geras can sand trap you. Basically what I'm saying is don't do this move when you're too close to the opponent, and it's just not worth it. You're gonna get, and the thing is, if you get hit out of it while it's charging, you lose the buff. You don't get the buff anyway. So only do this move at safe distances would be my best advice for this. But you know, as I said before, there are Dark Priest setups I like to use. They may not be legit, but some characters can't do much about it, considering they don't have forward for advancing mid strings or high strings. Baraka in this case does have forward 4-4, but I have not tested if it works. I can actually test it now. If we set him to do that, and then I record Shao Kahn to do a combo. We can test if Baraka's forward 4-4 will actually work here. See, as you see there, it said punish. So that setup doesn't work with Baraka, but people without forward advancing strings or special moves, maybe Noob Sabot, it might work on him. It's kind of a pseudo setup. If people have never seen it before, it will work. But if you're against like a Jackie Briggs or Liu Kang or a Shao Kahn or someone with a forward advancing special move that gives them a very good chunk of damage, it's not worth it to do. The best time, you have to get used to doing Dark Priest. Just get a feel for how your opponent plays, get a feel for how your opponent starts to throw projectiles, what they do at the full screen range, stuff like that. Learn what their tendencies are in the game. That's what I like to do. I like to see what they do, see how they respond to me throwing spears at full screen, if they respect the spear, if they just throw projectiles and don't care, if they teleport, if they have a teleport. You know, the list of possibilities goes on. to be honest. But if you trade a spear at full screen, it's just, I can't really demonstrate this properly in practice mode because it's a bit like hit and miss how this happens in a real game. But say Baraka throws a spark at me, which I can probably replicate this. Let's record Baraka doing a spark. Let's try and trade with it. As you can see there, Baraka's on the floor the time I'm charging up that Dark Priest. So that's free. I don't think you can do anything there. So that's probably the only time if you're just starting out as a Shao Kahn and you don't know how to get Dark Priest in, because a lot of people have asked me, how on earth do you get the Dark Priest crushing blow so often? And I'm like, you just have to get a feel for how your opponent plays and get Dark Priest out. If you think they're going to respect you from like this range, do Dark Priest. If you trade with the Spirit full screen, do Dark Priest. You know, the possibilities are endless. You can do it after 2-3 after a combo if then they don't have options. But yeah, just get used to when you want to do Dark Priest. It's up to you as a player. I mean, I just throw it out there because I want the Crushing Blow, because the Crushing Blow is amazing. Which I'll show you now actually. Which leads into the move you can see on the screen there, down back 3, Annihilation, only present in his Risen Emperor variation. I've called mine Outworld's Khan, that's just my... But the tournament variation is called Risen Emperor. As you can see probably here, I think they patched that in, didn't they? Yeah, see there? Tournament 2, Risen Emperor. But mine's just called Outworld's Khan. It has the same moves as his Risen Emperor variation. But yeah, Dark Priest and Annihilation are only present in his Risen Emperor variation, which I believe to be the superior variation, but we'll talk about True Khan after we're done talking about this one. But yeah, let's set Baraka to not block. So if you have your Dark Priest hammer buff active, see it's glowing green there, that's how you know you've got it active, and you do Annihilation, that happens. And you get a launch, which is amazing. This is a very, very good Crushing Blow in terms of instilling fear into people. If you have this hammer glowing green, people are scared because they're going to eat 40% damage minimum. It's a very damaging combo if you can get it. Like, I'll just show you a bread and butter here. Off a 1-4 punish, for example. Let's hope I don't drop this. Just a basic combo there. It's not even, that's probably not even optimal. It does 444 damage. Now that is amazing damage from a 1-4 punish, and it gets even worse. For example, if let's say Baraka does a throw, and I read he does a throw. I dropped it, but you saw it was 415 damage. I'll try it again. I just want to show everyone how. Okay, I'm not the. This is ridiculous. When I record, I drop everything. Online, I will not drop this though. Okay, here we go. Okay, so upon a read of a throw, if you have the hammer buff active, you'll get 580 damage for that, which is, it's pretty good. It's rivaling Sonya's damage, but for this you have to use a Crushing Blow in 1 bar. Sonya just have to use 1 bar, but still, it's very good. So yes, his Crushing Blow Annihilation is very, very good. If you can actually get a Dark Priest out, as I said, upon a trade with a spear, or just, you know, feeling your opponent out in the mid-range, you think they're not going to do anything, do a Dark Priest. So yeah, Dark Priest and Annihilation, very good moves if you can get them out. And just to comment on Annihilation, it is -20 on block. Wow. As you can see there, triggers if Dark Priest buff is active when this move hits. So -20 on block, extremely unsafe. You know, jab punish, lots of moves can punish this. Scorpion's forward 3, Crushing Blow, Baraka's forward 4, Crushing Blow. The list goes on, like, he can be punished heavily, but the fact that it's quite quick normally catches people off guard. So use at your own risk. You may see me do down 1 into Annihilation, you know, quite a decent bit against opponents that like to press buttons or start swinging after they block my down one. You know, it just keeps them in check. It's very risky. I don't do it against like the best players. If you watch my matches against when I played Deoxys, I did use it, but he started to, you know, latch onto the fact that I kept doing it, so I had to, you know, stop doing it and then occasionally bring it out again when he started just swinging after my down one. So yeah, you can use that, but yeah, Annihilation's basically like only a combo ender, and for that a combo beginner for the if you have the crushing blow, but a very amazing move. I mean, aesthetically it just looks amazing as well. And the amplified version does just more damage, and it has a brutality which I haven't unlocked. So yeah, it has brutality. So that's Dark Priest and Annihilation talk spoken about. That's done. I guess we can go on to Hammer Lunge now, down like 4, which he also only gets in his Risen. No, he doesn't. He has this across all his variations. Sorry, that's my bad. This is an overhead. Quite a long start to it. It has 36 frame startup, so it has quite a long start to it. So it's quite slow. And if I set Shao Kahn to do this move, he can be jabbed out of it on reaction if you react to this, for example. So it can be jabbed out of. I don't know if Baraka can do a very good combo off of this, but other characters can, like Jade can do standing 1 into back 2, which is her long range staff multi-hitting move, which is 10 frames. Yeah, it can be jabbed out of, but as I say, I mostly play online. I'm thinking of going to tournaments. I'm just very nervous. My tournament nerves aren't the greatest. That's what's probably going to get me down, but enough about that. It can be jabbed out of, so be wary of that. But if we go into its frames, it's -7 on block, so it's officially not your turn if someone blocks this. And as I don't know if I mentioned, but it's an overhead. But yeah, it's not your turn if like you've officially lost your turn once this is blocked. But you have the amplify. So for example, if Baraka, I can set Baraka to reversal mode on, let's say he tries to throw me. This will hit him. Basically, if anyone tries to press a button, trying to enforce their mids or anything, if they try to do anything after blocking this and you amplify, it will hit them. They can't get out of it. However, as you can see here, the amplify is -19. So if they do block it, you're dead. They can go to the shop, come back, punish you. So use at your own risk. As you can see, 8 frame start, very quick. So basically they can't interrupt. So yeah, use at your own risk. I occasionally throw it out, but it's so easy to punish. It's so easy, like visually seeing it, it's so easy to punish. But you've got to use it as a gimmick. Shao is a very gimmicky character in the fact that he can use a lot of moves like Annihilation, down 1 Annihilation, you know, Hammer Lunge, Amplify, forward 2-4, being unsafe but using it anyway because people don't know how to punish it, various things like that. But people will eventually know how to punish it. Like more and more people I've faced know how to punish it now. So yeah, Hammer Lunge, use at your own risk. The Amplify, but normal Hammer Lunge, I'd say just keep using it. You know, it's a good tool for advancing in on zoners, throwing projectiles full screen. Oh, let's stop him from throwing. That's gonna get annoying. Off. Okay, so yeah, just use it to get in on zoners. Very good tool for that. I should mention that in the corner. Let's go to the corner. 1-4 into hammer combos, and 1-4 is the only string you can cancel into hammer from. 1-2 does not work. Standing 4 does not work. Standing 3 might work. No, it doesn't. I'd see, that's how you know, like, I don't use standing 3 a lot. But standing 4 is the only string or move that will combo into hammer. As you can see, none of the others combo. And this is good because if you punish something that's jab punishable in the corner, or you get a jab combo series in the corner, 1-4 into hammer is a meterless launcher. So you can choose what you do after this. So my main like easy mode bread and butter is... That's my main easy mode bread and butter combo, which does 337, which is not bad, considering that, you know, it's meterless, but I use the bar there. But if you want to do a combo with no meter, I'd recommend this, which does 229. You might be able to do more than that, but I've not found anything that does more than that meterless. Actually, we can try it now. This might do a bit more. No, it doesn't. Okay, so... Oh no, wait, hold on. It did do more, didn't it? Yeah, this does more. Okay, just do that. I don't know why. I did the loads of down jabs. Just do that if you want to do meterless, but... you can also do the hard version of the combo, which replaces the 1-2 after the down jab with a standing 4, which does much more damage. See if I can demonstrate that. So you can either do that ender for 364. It's quite tight to hit. Or that, just another standing 4 for 363. It's your choice. The ender that I did prior to this one, the 1 into 2-3, is a bit tighter, as there's a lot of gravity in the combo, but yeah. Pick whichever one you want. I'd say if you're starting out, just do down 1 into 1-2. It's quite consistent to do. Online, I mostly never do the standing 4. It's just too tight to hit. I just do down 1 into 1-2 into shoulder. It's 334, 334 damage, 34%. It's pretty decent damage. I mean, I'm not complaining. It's pretty good for me. I mean, I can deal with it. You only get an extra like 3% if you want to do the standing 4. But again, it's up to you what you want to do. So yeah, I'd say just varying your combos. You can, you can experiment. I'm not the be all end all in terms of what I'm telling you guys. I want you guys to play Shao Kahn however you like. I just want to see more Shao Kahns online, basically, is what I'm saying. You just don't see enough of them, and when I do, I'm excited. But yeah, let's go back to center. That's all of his special moves. No, one more. We've got Wrath Hammer, down back 2, or Wrath Hammer. So if we get set Baraka to block and we go to the move list, Wrath Hammer is a Risen Emperor exclusive move. He does not get this in Shao Kahn, and it's -8 on block. Now, this move is an extremely gimmicky move because it's not real, as in, if Shao Kahn does this move, he is always susceptible to being hit. So if I change myself to Baraka and I get Shao Kahn to do, let's say, 1-4 into hammer, and I block the hammer, I can do an uppercut. But even if I did the other uppercut, the other hammer, the close version, we trade, but I do more damage, as you can see. Let's try that again. And some characters can get, as you can see, Baraka just got a reversal punish off of a backdash. So this move is a very gimmicky move. I don't really know what to say about this move. Use this move sparingly, because some people, they will mistime the uppercut, but I'd say offline this move will be, it's very difficult to use this move if people know how to counter it. I'd say the best use actually for this move, if I change myself back to Shao Kahn, is when they have like critical health, when they have like 10% left, or maybe a bit higher, and you have like quite a good life lead. If you do this move, normally they will uppercut you, yes, if they have, more health. But if they're about to die, they will not uppercut you. Meaning you can keep spamming this move, because they're not going to press any buttons, and they're going to be scared to press buttons, because the hammer will hit them and kill them. So in that regard, it's quite a good move to throw out at that sort of life range. But apart from that, it's a very gimmicky move. I like to test if my opponents know how to counter it, but they will know how to counter it if they see this guide now. So I've basically just made it harder for me to win. Was basically what I've done. But yeah, it's a very gimmicky move. Use it sparingly. It's good for closing out rounds. Yeah, that's all I'll say on that move. Yeah, that's it for Risen Emperor, actually. So yeah, that's all this. I won't have to cover basic attacks or combo attacks, just special moves now. So we'll switch to Shao Kahn, or as mine is called, Magic Might, which is just the standard variation that's called on the game. Now with Magic Might, he gets Wrath Hammer. As you can see, there's a crushing blow. Wrath Hammer is a mid-hitting projectile. Basically throws his hammer across the screen. In my opinion, quite a good projectile. 6% does the same amount as his spear, but it's just better than his spear in every way. I mean, you can't duck it under any circumstance. Has some chunky block stun when you block it. Does a decent bit of chip damage if we set Baraka to block. 1.7% on chip, that's pretty good. Can be flawless blocked obviously if your opponent's got lightning fast reactions. It is -18 on block, so it cannot be used up close, as you will be punished for it. We can set I'll change myself to Baraka and let Shao Kahn do this to me, just to show you guys it can be punished. Easy jab string punish into very good damage. So yeah, don't use it as a pressuring tool. If it was like -6, that'd be amazing, but it's not. So don't use it like that. It's predominantly, if not exclusively, no, it is exclusively a zoning tool. So it's very good. It's mid. Yeah, it's decent. And as I said, it has a crushing blow. If the move hits twice in a row and the first hit is a counter or punish. Now this may be quite hard to replicate, but let's record Baraka doing a... Okay, so you see my projectile punished him there. Now if we set Baraka just to normal and come off block, this second hammer should crush and blow him. There you go. And as you can see, it does 23%, which is a chunky bit of damage. So for projectile wars at the full screen, if you see that you've got a counter hit or a punish for your first hit, the first time the hammer hits, and then you throw another one, the next hammer you throw, if it hits them, it'll be a crushing blow. And depending if you've got crushing blow held check on or not, hold the button or don't hold the button. But yeah, that's a decent crushing blow. Can swing zoning wars in your favour, which is pretty good actually. So yeah, this move is actually very good. I really like this projectile. I just don't use this variation very much because I like really rushing down the Shao Kahn, and I just love Annihilation in terms of the way it looks, and it's just a good, amazing move. So yeah, very good projectile and back forward too. Crushing blow is also quite solid, and then we have back down 4, which is his low option. Now, as you can see there, it's -18 on block also, and it's +5 on hit. Now, this move is a low, and as I have explained before from his combo strings, for example, 1-4 ends in an overhead, 1-4-2, that's an overhead, 4-2-4 ends in overhead. So in this variation, you can kind of do some pseudo 50-50s in regards to the fact that you can swap the overhead with the back down 4, like so and like so. So it keeps the opponents on their toes. However, this slow, as it says in the move list, is -18. So it's extremely unsafe and easy to punish. I will demonstrate the punish on the slow. Let's change myself to Baraka and record Shao Kahn. Punish, there you go. That had quite a long time to punish that actually. So that can be punished. But yeah, it's a low. Then the Amplify does a double low. So if people try and punish it, the second part of the low will hit them. So yeah, that mind game is there, but this amplify is also minus 18, so you're in the same predicament if they block either hit. So it's going to be very easy to punish the Shao Kahn player for doing this regardless. But there is a mind game there, you know, if you can do back down 4 a lot on its own, and then you can mix out with the occasional amplify, you know, to keep your opponent on their toes, to show that, you know, you're willing to take the risk if they're trying to punish the first one. And if they're just waiting for it, then that gives you a chance to just do back down 4, and then they're going to respect the amplify, so you can just walk away and maybe get away unscathed if you're lucky. But this move is very minus. As I say, I don't really use this variation much, so I can't really talk about it that much, but from what I have used of this variation, I can say that it's very good in terms of keeping people on their toes for the forward 2-4, forward 2 back down 4, and that 1-4 into back down 4 50-50, because it's there. I mean, he's not Sonya Blade, he's not yeah, Sonya Blade is probably the most notable 50-50 character in the game, but it's not Sonya Blade 50-50, doesn't give you that much damage, but it is a 50-50, and a 50-50 is good regardless. So it's an option that can be used, it's there. I might actually do a Shao Kahn ranked video soon, so I can show you how I play Shao Kahn, and if you guys like the way I play Shao Kahn, and if you want to replicate it, I can do a more in-depth Shao Kahn guide if you'd like. So just tell me. I'm going to upload this to YouTube, so just comment whether you like that or not, and we'll see if I can do that. If I can, I'll just do a lot of research on the variation. Before I do a guide for that. But yeah. So now we have the ridicule and the humiliate. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I saw this in the Shao Kahn trailer, I was excited as hell. Now, as you can see on the move list, this has 110 frames of recovery. Now, there are 60 frames in a second, so this is a full, almost 2 seconds of recovery. Meaning that I'm going to hold up. Look how long that takes. Like, I've said you can go to the shop and back and punish moves that are minus 20, like Annihilation, and the amplified hammer lunge, down back 4. This takes the cake. The problem with this move is that it's very, very hard to get out. Like, okay, like as you can see, if I do it and Baraka will go on fire there, that means the buff is on Baraka, but you can still be hit out of this, which is the worst part. If it had better recovery, it'd be so much more usable, but it's just so long to recover. However, the two versions do different things. So down forward 2 will make the opponent do less damage to you. So let's just do an example here. That did 7%, and without the buff it did 15%. So out of the 2 taunts, that is probably my preferable taunt to use, because it makes Baraka do less damage. So if he does catch you, he does a lot less damage. And down back L2 does humiliate, which makes them have less defense, so you do more damage, I believe. So let's test that out now. Forward 2-1 into hammer does 17% with the buff, and without the buff it does 13%. So yeah, note that down back L2 makes you do more damage, and down forward L2 makes them do less damage. As I say, the taunt is very hard to land, so in a real match, especially if you're against a Scorpion or like someone that has a very advancing move and that can get on you quickly, and a projectile as well. You're always going to get hit out of this move pretty much. It's extremely hard to land like without getting punished. So yeah, that's the taunt. I think if they were to buff it, they'd just give it better recovery, and I think it'd be so much better. But at the moment, it's very hard to use. in a real match scenario, especially against good players. But that does lead me to the forward 3-4 crushing blow, which requires the opponent to be debuffed by ridicule or humiliate. So if, you know, lo and behold, you actually do get a humiliate out or a ridicule, for this crushing blow, down back L2 is the better one to do here because you do more damage to them. So if you do land a forward 3-4 1+3, normally it will do that damage, but if you have the buff on, it will do 40%, which is amazing damage, like really good damage. So yeah, there's that. That's an amazing crushing blow in my eyes. If the taunt had better recovery, it'd be an absolutely ridiculous crushing blow. Like with 3-4 1+3 is already amazing, but adding the fact that this is 40%, like that's not shabby. For a 10 frame mid that does 40%, people are scared when you have this buff on, and the fact that the crushing blow looks amazing as well. But that, it only does 40% off the down back L2, as it makes you do more damage. Off the down forward L2, I believe it does 36%. 37%. So it's not that much of a difference, but yeah. You could do it off either. If you want the extra damage, do it down back L2, but if you want less risk in terms of if they punish you for it, they'll do less damage, and you should have a chance to do 36% or 37% to them, do the down forward L2 taunt. And for reference, down forward L2 is ridicule and down back L2 is humiliate. So humiliate makes them have less defense and you do more damage, and ridicule makes them do less damage to you, just for reference there. But yeah, is that it? Ooh, is that all I have to say? I'm gonna do a separate video based around B&B combos with Shao Kahn and stuff, because I feel like this guide is mainly just for, you know, establishing a game plan and using his certain buttons for certain purposes. But I'm trying to think if anything else I haven't covered. I'll switch back to Resonant quickly to just clean up anything I've forgotten. Have I forgotten anything? I don't think I have. I guess we can talk about his throws. Okay. Oh yes, of course. I almost forgot his throw crushing blow. Okay, wow. Now you will not see me use this very often because I think it's quite hard to land. But as you can see from the move list, it says triggers on a reversal punish or get up punish. Now in the before they patched the game, it said triggers on a reversal, which was incorrect. So they've changed it to reversal punish or get up punish, which is correct. That's how it should be. And he only gets it off of his towards throw. And I'll show you what it looks like. If Baraka does gutted, and I see reversal throw punish comes up on the screen, I get that. I get a massive launching 23% throw, which you can do follow-ups off of. So if we reset the situation, reversal throw punish, you can see on the screen, and I can do the combo. It's quite finicky to land. Now that's just a simple conversion, but it does a very good chunk of damage. And if we have Fatal Blow available to us, it does even more damage. If I can land it, as I say, it's very finicky, and I'm used to online timing. Okay, you know what? I'm bad. Let's just go to the corner. In the corner, this is actually much more devastating if you can do this. But as I say, it's very, very situational. In the corner, you actually get to dash up and do like a standing fall into shoulder, which I'll show you now. If you want to just do raw Fatal Blow after this, you can. If I can, oh wow, I'm so bad. But But you guys get the gist of what I'm saying. Like, if I'm not executing it, you still get the gist. Like, here we go, there you go. And if they try and break away that, they will get hit, so they can't get out of that. 552 damage. And if you just want to do a normal combo, you can do that also. You can just do, like, you know, your standard amplified shoulder charge. I'm really dropping everything for this recording. It's going to look terrible on me. There we go. So 2 bars, 547 damage. Extremely good if you can if you can land it. If we go back to the neutral, I want to show you guys the main combo. It's just I think it's very situational to land this. So get used to punishing stuff with throw, but you only get to do it once. I'm not gonna land this, am I? I'm so sorry to people watching this, like... I'm so sorry, but okay, you know shoulder lands there. I did it once. I'm sorry I can't land it again. As I say, I'm nervous and my execution's tragic. Wow. I'll try one more time. Okay, I can't do it. Maybe it doesn't work. No, I just can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I can't show you. I hope you saw that one time that I did do it. So yeah, you can convert a shoulder off of that and get around 40% with 1 bar, and if you're close to the corner, as you saw that I did, you get like 54 with 2 bars, depending on the combo you do, of course. But I guess now we can talk about his fatal blow, and then we can finish the video, because that's, I think, if I've spoken about everything. I'll put timestamps when I upload this to YouTube as well for point of reference, and of course I'll do a combo video separate from this, because that will, you know, that this is just a guide for the basics and beginner friendly, trying to establish game plan, as I said. But yeah, so his fatal blow, decent bit of range to it, to be fair. So for example, if you see, we can do Baraka. Let Baraka do a projectile here. If you react to a projectile mid-screen, you'll get a fatal blow, excuse me. So if you can react to that, it's very good. So you know, that kind of mid-screen range. Let's put Baraka off of this. That's going to get annoying sooner or later. So yeah, you can react to things that are around this range if they flinch or press a button. Yeah, so it's good in that regard, but I think the main use for his fatal blow, as with most fatal blows, is to do it in a combo. And what I love about Shao Kahn's fatal blow is, if you've seen in my videos, I make quite a lot of comebacks with Shao Kahn, and it's because I feel like I'm more powerful with lower health, because I have the fatal blow available to me, and his fatal blow does tons of damage, like even after a 1-4 punish. The standard combo into fatal blow that I do. We'll see how much damage that does. $431 damage off a 1-4 punish, and they can't break away. If they don't break away, like during the shoulder amplify, between the shoulder and the launch, they won't be able to get out of the combo, because if you do standing 4 into fatal blow and they break away here, it will still connect with them. So that's very good. His fatal blow is very damaging. The usual combo I do is standing 4 into fatal blow, but I'll do more combos in the combo tutorial that I do. But I think, guys, that is about as much as I know about Shao Kahn. I mean, he's my boy. I just think loads of people should play him. I mean, look at that hammer, for one thing, and that hammer is amazing, and that mask. But I just think he's really underrepresented, and I think the more people should play him. And I think what people need to remember, I think what I think is the most important aspect of this game, is that matchups and tiers do not determine the result of a match. Like, take my match against Deoxys recently, for example. I don't know if you've seen that on my YouTube or not. But Deoxys is an amazing player, absolutely amazing. I watched Deoxys at Combo Breaker. I've watched Deoxys, you know, PND Ketchup and Mustard's ESL streams when he used to play Blue Beetle back in Injustice 2. He is a solid, amazing player, and I can't believe I beat him, if I'm honest. I don't think I'm that good, to be honest with you. I just think I'm just playing my character, I'm having fun. That's just how I'm seeing this game. I just love MK. But Deoxys, I forgot what I was saying. What was I even saying? But yeah, anyway, I was playing Deoxys, and he picked Cassie Cage and Geras against me, and I remained Shao Kahn throughout the whole set, and I won. And whether that was unfamiliarity with Shao Kahn, or I just played better than him, I don't know. But I stuck with Shao Kahn, and I beat Geras, and I just find Geras Shao Kahn to be a terrible match for Shao Kahn. Now more than ever, I find it terrible, because like really good Geras players give Shao Kahn a tough time, because they're just like walking back doing sand trap, and it's tough for me to get in, because if I even flinch or stand block for a millisecond, I'm going to get punished. So if there's a take-home message from this guide, I think it'd be that matchups do not determine the result, and do not get frustrated while playing Shao Kahn, because it did happen to me at the start of the game's life. I really wanted to play Shao Kahn. I thought he was the coolest character ever, but I kept losing with him, and then I was like to myself, how am I going to make this work? So I went to practice mode. I practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced. I played loads and loads of player matches, and then I went into rank with all that knowledge, and then I got onto the top 10 in leaderboards with Shao Kahn. I'm the only Shao Kahn in top 100 at the moment. So please, I would need more Shao Kahns in the top 100. That way I know that this guide has actually helped people, because that's all I want to do. I just want to help people get better at the game. I want to help people, you know, feel more comfortable playing MK, because MK is an amazing game, and I just want people to have fun playing Shao Kahn. So I think that's all for the video and for the guide. So thank you for watching. Thank you for the people sitting here in the stream watching, because I did stream this because I don't really have any recording software. But thank you for watching, and I'll be making a combo video. It will be coming soon, so see you guys then, and peace.